see some girl at a bar and she's standing by herself? She's really hot. And you're thinking to yourself, I don't get it. Why doesn't that girl have a boyfriend? Well, there's a reason for that. Maybe she's a psycho. Maybe she's a weirdo. Maybe she's a psycho weirdo. It's called the hot chick syndrome. If a chick is really hot and she doesn't have a boyfriend, there's probably a reason. It applies to musicians also. You see some amazing lead singer or a hotshot guitar player, and you think to yourself, why can't this guy stay in a band? He's great. Well, there's usually a reason for that too. Overinflated ego, delusions of grandeur. Maybe he's just a fucking dick. Now, back in the day on the Sunset Strip, I played alongside hundreds of bands, and I mean hundreds and hundreds of bands. A lot of these bands had really cute singers or amazing guitar players. I'd go to sound check sometimes, and the singer would walk in with this entourage of chicks behind him. It was crazy. It was like David Koresh shit, all rushing to kiss the hem of his garment like it was a holy relic. Need your hair and makeup done, Shane? Need a hot towel, Shane? Someone light your cigarette, Shane? Need a Shane? I admit I was a little bit jealous at the time. Where's my entourage? I don't even have a muse. But here we are in 2022. Where's Shane now? What happened to old Shane? Why isn't Shane making records? Why didn't Shane have a career? Who knows? Luck? Timing? Having a career in music, especially a long career in music, is not easy. No one teaches you about the music business. You have to learn by doing and failing. If I were to go back in time and pick up a local magazine from the 80s, you'd see what I mean. Fierce competition, a nonstop freight train of bands and band guys all struggling to make it. And how many bands got record deals out of that time? Maybe 10, 15 at most? That's like 2% of all the rock bands that were out there on the Strip struggling. And that's not many. Not very good odds, as my parents would say. I knew the chances were slim to none to getting a record deal. I knew it. We all knew it. But we did it anyway. We committed ourselves for the love of rock. And actually, we should have been committed because we were stubborn and we didn't stop. And here we are. And we got the record deal and we made the records, and I'm still doing it 30 plus years later. Unbelievable. But there were many that didn't make it. So many. And the only way to revisit is to go back in time. Here is a local magazine from 1988. Look at it, it's all bent and yellowed like its owner. This is us. This is us announcing our record deal from Columbia Records. We just gotten the record deal December 12th, 1988, and this is us on the cover celebrating. We had a great Christmas that year. Most bands in 1988 didn't have a good Christmas, but we sure did. Okay, so let's delve in now, shall we? Check it out. Taz. Remember Taz? New Year's Eve at Gazzari's. Remember Gazzari's? It was a famous venue. It was very popular back in the 80s. It's not there anymore. They tore it down and they put up something they call the Key Club. Then the Key Club closed down. I don't know what it is now. Anyway, Taz were really popular back then. They had a bunch of catchy songs. They had a really cute singer. Why didn't they ever make it? Whatever happened to them? New Year's Eve with Tommy Gunn. Notice there's two N's at the end of Gunn. We kind of did that shit back in the 80s. Nikki Sixx with two X's, Vicky Fox with two X's, Tommy Gunn with two N's. Anyway, these guys look pretty cool. Chicks dug them, apparently, because there's chicks in the picture with bikinis in their photo, so somebody must have been getting laid. Where are they now? Where's Tommy Gunn with two N's? Death Row. Not a great band name, to be honest. Death Row. Here we are 30 plus years later. Where are they now? Maybe one of them is on death row. Saigon Saloon. They look like a carbon copy of Guns N' Roses, and I guess they were. It makes sense. Guns N' Roses were exploding at that time, and bands were getting signed if they looked like Guns N' Roses. I remember reading a Rolling Stone article interview with Axl Rose at the time, and they asked him what bands he liked in LA, and he said, Saigon Saloon. That endorsement alone should have gotten those guys a 7-record deal with Geffen. Props from the great god Vishnu himself. But you know what? I don't think anything happened. They disappeared like all the others. Why? Why didn't these guys make it? Oh, British imports. This place was the place to go. The total one-stop shop for the rockers in Hollywood. We all went there because they had it all. They had leather pants, leather vests, studded belts, studded bracelets, even spandex pants for the hardcore glam rocker. Remember spandex? Ooh, cringeworthy. Where are all those pairs of zebra spandex pants now? They're all probably fermenting at the bottom of some Hollywood landfill. Shock. I never heard of these guys. I never heard of a lot of these bands, to be honest. Grand Slam, Britney, so many bands. My band was probably out there flyering every night, right alongside Grand Slam and Britney, and we didn't even know it. Where are all those guys now? Every night on the Strip, 4 or 5 bands playing in 10 different clubs every single night. Think about it. Man, Capitol Records is coming to see us. We could get signed tonight. There were a bunch of recording studios, and they were packed all the time with bands making their demos. You had to have the promo kit. You had to have the pictures. You had to have the promo. You had to have the bio. You had to have the demo. It was a business. It was a real business, and bands took it seriously. You had to take it seriously, or your band just fell by the wayside. If your band sucked, too bad, no quarter. I forgot the most important thing. Good hair was everything, man. It was 50% of your image, I'm telling you. Look at these guys. Great hair. Great hair. Framed, backlit, stellar hair. Grammy award-winning hair. What the f***? Skeletons? What was up with these guys? Seems like a bit of a hard sell. When everyone wanted pretty boy bands or bad boy bands, who is the genius that said, you know what, let's be f***ing skeletons? From the sublime to the absurd. What the fox is going on? There's those 2 X's going on. This picture is awful. Look at the guy on the right. I am glam robot from the future. Sure is a lot of zebra going on. Zebra everywhere. Zebra and mirror sunglasses. Rankus Tide. The guy on the left looks like we caught him in mid-cavity search. Look at the guy on the right. He means business, man. He's gonna kick your ass, musically speaking. Oh, no, 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 no! This picture has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. More nameless bands. They're playing the Roxy, though. That's pretty prestigious. The Roxy was kind of a better venue than the Whiskey or the Troubadour. Nicer stage, better sound. Now look at the band on the left. You can always tell who the keyboard player was in the band. He was always the guy that sort of looked like he could still work at a Home Depot or Baskin Robbins if he had to. Didn't quite fit the image, little overweight perhaps, bad hair. You know, we'll just put him in the back of the picture and sort of stand in front of him, cover him up. Secrets, rebel metal rock and roll. Where are they now? Where's that keyboard player? Does he still have his keytar? Check this out. This is the 1986 equivalent of a modern Warren Star ad. Times sure have changed a lot. Same idea though, if you think about it. This is what people looked like back then, on stage and off. People actually walk down the street on Sunset Boulevard looking like this. Can you believe it? Look at this, more ads. This actually existed. Yes, this was actually a thing. It seems so silly now, but it wasn't back then. It was totally normal. It was totally normal to look like this. It's weird. Must find something redeeming. Must find something redeeming. Oh, here it is. London. They were actually pretty big on the Strip at one point. Nader, the singer, he's still playing music, and good for him. Not many of us left, actually, from that time. Lace? Is that what you call it? I first thought their name looked like Latte. Some of these band logos were kind of hard to figure out. What's that one on the bottom? Vendome? Vendomatic? Vendetta, that's it. Whatever happened to Vendetta? Nothing? Nothing. They played the Strip, they wrote songs, and just like 1,000 other bands, disappeared into the phantom zone. Hey, look at your old pal Jizzo. I think this was one of my first interviews I ever did because we had just gotten our record deal from Columbia Records. The headband, the leather jacket, all the accessories, man, I was in it. December 12th, 1988. Changed my life. I talk about it in my new book, All the Devils. I talk about the Strip and how it all went down. It's a good read. You can check it out at jizzypearl.net. It was 1988, 34 years ago. All my dreams were intact. Dreams of the rock gods, platinum records, glory. For the first time, I could go to my parents' house for Christmas, and I didn't feel like a complete loser. My mom at the dinner table asking me, "It's real, right? It's not going to fall through, right?" Yep, the guy in that picture still had all his dreams intact. The disemboweling of those dreams came later. Here's some assorted pics from the Rock City News. I remember when having a picture in this magazine was a really huge deal for me. It meant that I wasn't a loser. It meant that I was coming up in the world. Look at on the right, there's Stevie Rochelle. He's another survivor. Love, hate, Hot Wheels, Paradise. Paradise, not paradise. Private LA joke there. It's crazy. It's crazy. I guess after all these years, it begs the question, why me? Why did I get the career and none of these other bands did? Why did I get the record deal and all these other bands didn't? I don't know. Luck? Timing? Looking at this old magazine really brought it back for me. The crowded Sunset Strip, the flyering, the goofy outfits, the chicks, the guys, the fun. It brought it all back. The excitement, the innocence of youth. Those moments hanging out at the Coconut Teaser when you would just see Slash or Axl walking by. They were just like you, man. They were just like you. They were struggling. They were trying to figure it all out. A guy in the corner, who's that tall blonde guy? Oh, his name is Duff. I'm opening up for those guys at the Whiskey. I hear they're really, really good. You should check us out. All this stuff would not have occurred to me in 1988. YouTube, digital, CDs, Napster. I could not have conceived of any of this stuff. Man, I always thought MTV would still be playing videos. Now I have to be 16 and pregnant to get on MTV. That's why we have to adapt. That's why we Band of Brothers. We have to adapt. We have to evolve. We have to adapt to the changing times. Hence this YouTube channel, hence this Jizzo channel. So, it's your old pal Jizzo, and I'm rockin' and rollin', and we'll see you next time.